Hey guys, so today I'm going to be checking out the second part of Halo Hunters in the Dark, and I have Archo here with me.
Hello.
Um, this is a novel that we started watching the review for. So far, it's been really good. I've enjoyed it so far. Um, I'm thinking that when I get done with it, right now, I'm existing off Audible at work. And I'm thinking about getting this and listening to it and giving my own review of it at some point, which could be fun. We'll see if I actually am able to do it. My time isn't what it used to be. But in any case, Arco, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Speaking of, we jump over to the other group to see what they're up to. It's at
That was a rapid intro.
Yes.
It's like it's speaking of. Oh, okay. Speaking of.
this point that we get probably one of the stranger statements in the book, as the group is questioning why
I just love how the names of these people are so like just yeah. You have the Spartan whose name is Frank. You have Dr. Luther Mann, a penis monster named Drifts randomly, and the names of two elites, which sound like something I say after drinking about, I don't know, a bottle of vodka.
You know, saying that a penis monster drifts and you really wouldn't want anything penis related to drift randomly, would you?
No. And then you got Columbus and Zonvum. No. Not doing it for you?
I would have gone more for the fact that the two humans here sound like they'd be infomercial fucking advocates. Johnny Starr, Phil Swift, Frank Kodiak, Luther Mann.
Like, seriously. Like, you're a Spartan. Change your name to something else.
Nope.
Change your name to something else. It's like, he's the greatest hero of our time. The hero of humanity. And his name is Frank.
Yep.
why Vale would walk off with some unknown creature, or why a giant alien mammoth would escort them to the Citadel, Luther Mann explains a theory of his, but also explains why there are different creatures on the Ark, and it would seem to bring into question the author's understanding of the Halo Ring's effect. To quote,
"You're saying,"
Untho attempted to clarify,
"that the Forerunners kept natural predators of sentient species on the Ark, so they wouldn't go extinct when the sentient beings on their own world suddenly died off?"
yes, they were trying to save entire ecosystems and not just sentient beings whenever the Halo was activated. End quote. And later on, quote, when the Ark was damaged by the replacement Halo about 2 years ago, things clearly went a little haywire here. The various walled sections of the Ark are called refugia. They're like wildlife paddocks the size of a moon. We're talking enormous cages for different species. It's extremely likely that one of these walls were breached, allowing different specimens into one another's territory.
Quiet, all of you. They're approaching the Tyrannosaur paddock.
End quote. So, while this does explain why we never saw any other species on the Ark in Halo 3, a point
That was the funnest vehicle to drive, but the worst one to drive at the same time. It's like just did not make any sense.
remarked in the book itself, this
Eh?
Only the brutes could have designed something like that.
Yes.
brings into question everything we know about the Flood and the Halo rings. In the Forerunner saga, it's noted that the rings kill off anything with a nervous system, no matter how rudimentary. Further, in the Halo graphic novel story Last Voyage of the Infinite Succor, we see that the Flood are very much capable of infecting animals.
Bro, what the fuck is that? Is that the Coca-Cola bear? Is that the Coca-Cola bear with a meth problem?
You know, it might be a distant cousin, thrice removed.
Yeah, no.
The Flood's infection capability is not at all reliant on it being sentient, a term heavily misused in the quotes from before, but on the presence of a central nervous system and sufficient calcium stores. And again, as we saw in Cryptum, almost anything with the most basic nervous system is susceptible to the Halo effect. In short, Luther's explanation makes no goram sense, especially when you consider the fact that the Flood presence on the Ark has been exterminated. So, moving forward, Luther explains that he thinks some of the beings on the Ark were bred to serve the will of the Monitor, explaining the compliance of this mammoth creature and the other creatures leading Vale away. At this point, we finally jump back to Olympia Vale. Having followed the creature for some time, she's more or less dumped into a chute of some kind that takes her to a mysterious corridor. It's not long before...
There's a joke in there, but I'm not going to make it.
Dude.
A strange golden light appears before her, twisting and contorting until it takes on the shape of Vale herself, and introduces itself as the Monitor of the Ark, 000 Tragic Solitude.
God, that is so 90s music.
Solitude reveals that the creature that brought Vale to him releases a natural psychotropic pheromone that humans are susceptible to. Using that and her communication piece, Solitude was able to bring Vale to him with ease. Through their conversation, we
That just sounds dirty now.
learn that Solitude, during its time, merged with the Ark to such a degree that it sees itself as the Ark rather than just a caretaker. Solitude was also the one who activated the Halo rings in order to get humanity to reactivate the portal, allowing Solitude to retrieve the necessary material to fix the damage done to the Ark, and that it planned to activate the rings and wipe out all life, allowing the galaxy to start anew. When Vale brings up the fact that the Forerunners wanted humanity to inherit their legacy, Solitude counters with the fact that this was not a universal sentiment, a nice reference to the Forerunner saga. Ultimately, Solitude believes that it will succeed, and nothing Vale or any of the group can do will stop it. Jumping back to Henry, Holt, and Uze, they find themselves under attack by a tree, or rather a tree-like organism.
Dropping the shroom swallow on a hostile alien planet. This is a good idea.
They find temporary refuge in a cave just out of reach of the plant creature, and to everyone's surprise, the comms are working again. Holt uses the opportunity to contact Kodiak, who, like a complete badass, sprints to Holt's location. Yeah, he sprints an hour's walk in a few minutes. Once there, Kodiak tries to sneak up on the tree creature, and while he gets a good hit in, he is quickly immobilized by the thing's roots. And just like in New Blood, we have the eternal issue with Mjolnir's shields. The roots are easily able to get under the armor components of Kodiak's Mjolnir and try to work under the tech suit. I have to ask, where the hell are Kodiak's shields? Why is it that new media always seems to portray Spartan shields like Mass Effect's kinetic shields, the latter only activating when an object is moving at a certain velocity? That is not how energy shields work. They are always present until depleted. So, Uze shows up and cuts into the tree, which allows Kodiak to get free. The two then use their energy swords to cut the tree into pieces, killing it.
Save the rainforest. Kill the trees.
Trees.
Uze and Kodiak regroup with Holt and Henry, and they head out for the Citadel. Just outside it, they meet up with Untho, Luther, Zone, and Kola. They all agree that the Monitor is likely setting a trap, but with no other options, head into the Citadel to deactivate the Halo array. And of course, once they do, that activates the trap card. Armigers appear, this time with quite clear murderous intent. The group tries to make their way back to the elevator that brought them up there, but finds themselves split up in the process. Luther, Henry, Uze, Kola, and Drifts make it to the elevator, only to find it out of commission. With little other choice, they jump down a chute in the back of the chamber, just like the Chief and Arbiter did years before. Meanwhile, Untho, Zone, Holt, and Kodiak find themselves surrounded. A portal opens beneath Kodiak, and before it closes, the rest of the group jumps in, seemingly to safety. Meanwhile, Vale and Solitude have kept up with their conversation. Vale continues to try and get Solitude to reconsider harvesting the solar system and activating the Halo array, but to no avail. It seems Solitude has judged humanity and other species to be more harmful than anything, and that the galaxy must start anew. Interestingly, during the conversation, Vale asks Solitude, what if some all-powerful beings had made the same judgment against the Forerunners? A funny reference to the Precursors. Solitude notes that such a judgment was made against the Forerunners in the form of the Flood. Whether by accident or because it figured things out, Solitude is not wrong. The conversation...
He is wrong.
No, he isn't.
So like, I'm trying to grasp, the Flood are another species that came in invasively. He's just doing this to be a dick.
No, he's technically correct.
Okay.
ends with Solitude knocking Vale out. We then jump over to Luther's group. They find an area that should have a map of the Citadel. Drifts is put to work to try and activate it. Meanwhile, Henry finds a downed sentinel of some sort. Though the type is never identified, it's described as having 2 booms and being smaller than an aggressor, perhaps a constructor or a protector sentinel. Anyway, the thing suddenly activates and rips into Henry's throat. Though the sentinel is quickly taken care of, Henry Lamb is too injured to be helped, and he dies in his friend's hands. Because the universe has something of a dark sense of humor, Drifts manages to activate the map just after Henry passes. Luther is then able to identify a passage out, and before leaving, gives a brief prayer for his fallen friend. Following their new path, the four come across a sealed door. Uze and Kola use their energy swords to pry the door open just long enough for Drifts and Luther to make their way through, but are soon attacked by an army of armigers. Luckily, on the other side are the Foundry's controls. Drifts accesses it, confirming the presence of the Ark's monitor, and Luther sets Drifts to work to take control of the Ark. Meanwhile, Kodiak, Holt, Untho, and Zone find their way to Vale's location, though an energy barrier keeps them from reaching her. Vale had recently been reawoken and continued her conversation with Solitude. Unfortunately, she finds that Solitude has launched more Retriever Sentinels, their purpose to clear the solar system of resources, starting at Earth. And, like with Mayhem's trip, this trip will take mere hours, thanks to some fiddling by Solitude. Back with Luther, Drifts is finally able to take control of the Ark systems and opens the door that had separated them from Uze and Kola. To his horror, Luther finds a battered and bleeding Uze on the other side. Alive, conscious, but in terrible condition. Kola is no better off. Still, they're alive and for the moment do not need to move. Unfortunately, while Drifts has control of the Ark, the Retrievers remain under Solitude's control. Vale attempts one last time to stave off the attack on Earth, but to no avail. Solitude means to follow through with his plan, keeping Vale as the last human and using her to reactivate the Halo array. We briefly jump over to Earth, where the Retrievers are pouring through the portal. Though the UNSC brought almost all of Home Fleet to the portal's location, they could not be prepared for what came through. The battle started in the UNSC's favor, but through sheer numbers, the tides quickly turn, and the UNSC finds itself on the defensive. Back on the Ark, Solitude opens a communications channel to Luther and Drifts, telling Vale that he'll halt his attack on Earth if she convinces Luther to give control of the Ark back to him. Vale does...
Fucking really? That sounds very stupid if they do it.
Does the exact opposite, telling Luther to make sure Drifts purges Solitude from the Ark systems. Gotta admire that conviction. Disappointed, Solitude brings out another human he had kept. This is Broadside 1 from the start of the book, though horribly amalgamated with Forerunner tech to keep him alive. Solitude orders them to fight to the death, and while Vale initially hesitates, Broadside 1 leaps into battle. We jump over to Kodiak, who recognizes the cyborg being as his brother, Bobby. Earlier in the book, we learned that Kodiak had a brother who had been on the UNSC Rubicon. Looking for a way to help Vale and to get to Bobby, Kodiak recalls a data center they passed earlier. They locate it and start firing at everything in sight. To get them to stop, Solitude recalls his Retrievers and takes down the energy barrier. Kodiak then rushes in attending to his long-lost brother, who has but one request: kill me. The reunion is cut short when tragic Solitude
Dark.
attacks again. Bobby, in an act of heroism, attacks the rampant monitor, destroying both it and himself. With their mission seemingly done, the group returns to Mayhem and then takes the portal back to Earth. The book comes to an end as we finish off a number of character arcs. Kodiak suggests Vale join the Spartan branch, Untho and Kodiak reach something of an understanding, and Captain Richards is offered a promotion for her actions, but she declines, stating that she feels she did not earn it, failing to properly lead due to her injury. Luther Mann, noting that teams have since been sent to the Ark to establish a permanent presence, decides that he'd like to finally meet the daughter he knew about but had never been afforded the opportunity to meet. And so, that's Halo Hunters in the Dark. A hell of a book to be sure. While it does have some canon issues, the book is pretty damn good in the end. Olympia Vale is a very strong and...
I really don't have problems with like one or two canon issues in a book. As long as it doesn't like break universal norms and stuff like that, I really don't have a problem with that.
I'd like to mention, he doesn't really get it across here, but in the book, as she's captured by Solitude, she essentially tells him to fuck off in a fairly colourful manner.
Nice. Yeah, there's only been a couple of things like in the books that I've read that have been major that have really turned me off to a story, like the one in Prospero Burns where Dan Abnett brings up the true name clause, which I hated so much as a plot point. It wasn't even funny. But past that, I mean, like the Furious Abyss being known immediately after being told in the previous book that it was supposed to be a super secret project, and then everybody knows about it. Just little things like that, like, don't bother me too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Well-written character, and after reading this book, I cannot wait to meet her in Halo 5 Guardians. Returning characters like Unthos Raum and Uze Taham are a blast, and their personal character arcs will make playing Halo 3 co-op a whole new experience the next time I decide to do so. The overall story arc is extremely interesting, rewarding longtime fans while making sure not to alienate those who have only limited knowledge of Halo's expanded universe. For this reason, more than any other, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Thanks for joining me, and thank you more for your patience. I know this review was promised a long time ago, and I appreciate you sticking with me. Cannon Fodder came out last night, so expect my report on that later this weekend. To all my Canadian viewers, a happy belated Canada Day. To my American viewers, happy 4th of July. This has been Halo Canon, and I'll see you next time.
So not bad really.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is quite good. Quite a good book. Yes, I enjoyed it.
Yes. I'm thinking about actually starting, because I do get time to sit, well, not really sit. I do get time to listen to stuff at work, so I'm thinking about getting a book from the Halo universe, and I'm going to talk to you about it at some point. I mean, I could, like, right now, like the last book I finished was Brutal Cunning, the Orc book, the one that was written in their perspective. Oh my god, that book is just absolutely ridiculous. But I'm going through the entire Eisenhorn series right now. Right now I'm on Malleus, and I'm doing that and the Night Lord's Omnibus. But after I finish the Night Lord's Omnibus, I'll be ready for something else. So why not Halo? Because September is not getting here fast enough.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, September, the next book in the Siege of Terra series comes out, which is going to be the 6th out of 7 books in that series. So I'm hoping for Siege of Terra we get the arrival of the Dark Angels and the Ultra Smurfs. If we could get that, I'll be happy. Because I'm tired of watching, like, I'm tired of the entire universe beating on Rogel Dorn. In any case, this was Hunter's Halo, Hunter's Halo in the Dark. I'm an idiot. Halo Hunters in the Dark, and who knows? Maybe I'll be listening to this book soon while I'm at work. But until then, Archo, do you have anything?
Olympia Vale, best girl. That's it.
Olympia Girl is Archo's waifu from the Halo universe. Yes. Alright, so that being said, I'm going to put Halo Canon's links in the description down below. I almost forgot how to speak English there for a second. Also, I'm going to be putting my links in the description down below. I have a Discord now. I've had it for about a year and some change. I don't know why I said now. I'm an idiot. In any case, I'll catch you guys next time. Say goodbye, Archo.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.